everything I'm about to say, you already know it to be true. You are a slave. You are a slave to money, to social economics, to status, to politics, to ideology. You have sold your soul to have a place in a world order that you should naturally oppose. Whoa now, whoa now, whoa now. Welcome to the Black Alpha and your boy, Brother Kush. Right now, we have a lot of stuff that's already out here in society. Discussions that are already being had, that have been being had for some time. And the claims have been made, and the arguments against the claims or for the claims have been well stated. What we don't have is a rebuttal. We don't have a valid argument or a valid argument, a competent argument against the false narratives that's being laid down by our so-called leaders and intellectuals and experts. We don't have a valid argument or a competent argument against their argument. And that's what I want to start doing. I want to start giving a valid argument against the things that they say. And today, we're going to use my man that I love to hate, right? I don't really hate the brother, you know what I'm saying? But the brother's a loudmouth. He's always talking. But I'm going to start giving him the due respect of an adversary, because he does have some status and clout. And he loves to voice his opinion. He's shameless. He's very cocky, you know, but he's often wrong. And I can really use him to teach you a lot, or to open your eyes up to a whole lot, if I can only stop attacking him, you know what I'm saying, or getting upset at the silliness of some of these arguments, and start making, you know, making my argument sound, my counter argument rather, sound like it's personal when it's not. I have no personal gripe. So I'm going to use Dr. Umar Johnson in this video. He was on the Daily Wrap-Up Show. I want to give a shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson, because I never even heard of the Daily Wrap-Up Show. I was completely unaware of these brothers. And Umar was on their show, and he did what he did. So I'm going to use several of their clips to rebut the things that Dr. Umar Johnson say. But on this one, I'm going to talk about Dr. Umar Johnson's favorite topic, interracial marriage. But before we get into that, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to receive notification when I drop more videos. If you don't hit the bell icon, YouTube will not notify you when I drop videos. Also, if you want to contact me or reach out to me behind the scenes, I do have an email right there, as you can see, realblackalpha@gmail.com, which is also tied to my PayPal account. But that's not the best way to contact me. The best way would be to contact me through Telegram, right? Telegram at black_alpha. That's how you contact me. That's the best way to contact me. If you want to support the channel financially, you do have Cash App, $ the Black Alpha, and you have Venmo at the Black Alpha. Now, if you've been here several times and have not subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Let me get right into this. Let me pull up a frame, and we're going to jump right into this here, right?
My good brother right here, you know, who's an advocate, and he says that you can be pro-black and did outside.
Impossible. You cannot. Marriage is a business. When you get married, you commit your mind, your body, your heart, your soul, and your pocketbook, your savings, your estate, your wealth. You can commit that to that person you're married to.
Let me stop right there. I stopped it short, but this is where I want to stop at. First of all, marriage is not a business. You could talk to 1 million married couples, and I bet you 999,000 of them will tell you that their marriage is not a business. You know, part of the way these dudes argue everything, they argue from a very, very, very select point of view, which means they may not be wrong per se, right? They may not be wrong, but they are wrong if you apply what they're saying in a more general or broad way. If you apply it to the masses, then it's wrong. If you apply it to a more select group, then what they say may be true. For instance, he said that when you get married, that you are giving your wealth to this person. Well, most of us have no wealth to give to anybody. Most of us have no wealth to even consider when we meet people or try to date people or do anything like that. You see, this is that Kevin Samuels high value man, straw man concept all over again. And I recently said in a community post how Kevin Samuels uses the straw man of the high value man to base all of his arguments. He launched all of his arguments around that, the high value man concept. And from that standpoint, he effectively controlled how the argument goes. You can't win in that argument because he's arguing from the standpoint of a myth, because nobody knows who these high value men are. Nobody knows who these people are. Nobody even know who they're applying this to, right? But Kevin Samuels would tell you over and over again what men of means want, men of status, high value men, what they won't accept, what they will accept. But I mean, it's like, but who are these men? And how many women are actually around these men, have access to these men? It's not so much that these women don't qualify for these men. How many women are actually around these kinds of men? And then if they're all around these kinds of men, how many women actually would want to marry that man just because he is wealthy or he has some money or because he has some fame? You see, we don't talk about that. And I had a talk with a young brother the other day, and I happened to mention to him, I'm not going to get into the conversation, but I told him that when you try to give facts without context, you are being dishonest. You are being dishonest. And this is an argument style that a lot of people like to use. It's another form of a logical fallacy, you know. And Dr. Umar Johnson actually does the exact same thing. He argues everything from money. Everything is about money. If it's not about money, it's about feeling sorry for black women, which we're going to get into that in a second. But everything is about money. But most of us have no money. So that's not even a consideration. Most of us have no money to consider. Yes, if you're a wealthy man, then you got to move differently. All of your actions and moves have to take into consideration your wealth. But when you ain't got no wealth to consider, then, I mean, why is that even a topic for 99% of us? That's not even a factor for most of us. So he may not be wrong, but people, who is he talking about? Because he's not talking about you, black man. He's not talking about you, black woman. You have no wealth to consider. He's not talking about you. Now, if you want to live in the clouds thinking that I don't have it now, but I'm going to get it tomorrow, okay, by all means, do you. But if getting wealthy was easy, we all be wealthy. If getting rich was easy, they would make up 5%, actually more like 3%. If you look up the real studies, they make up like 3%. I got a chart. I don't have it readily available, and I'm not going to edit this video. This is going to go up as I'm filming. But I have a chart showing it that it actually makes up more like 3%. So if getting rich was easy, I mean substantially rich, worth more than, I guess, $5 to $10 million, we all be worth that. It's not easy. So you are fooling yourself if you think that you're just going to snap your finger like Thanos and bam, you know what I'm saying, you're going to accumulate all this wealth. It's not going to happen. But anyway, let me continue on what he's saying. Listen up.
See, when you marry, you don't marry an individual. You marry into a race. You marry into a community. So I didn't marry a Jewish woman. I married into Jewish society.
See, now, again, that's a bunch of bull. So if I marry a Mexican woman, I'm somehow Mexican culturally now. It just don't work that way, man. I mean, it's a myth. What the crazy thing is that he said this stuff and nobody argues it back. Nobody tell him that. Say, but all that stuff might sound good and it might be true in an alternate reality somewhere, but in the real world that we live in, that's just not true. It's just not true. And I'm gonna get into, I'm expound on that. Just give me a second. Let's hear him out.
I didn't marry an Asian woman. I married into an Asian family. There's no way you can claim to love black people, especially as a black man, knowing that only 1 out of every 4 black women will get married in her lifetime. We have the lowest female marriage rate in the country, 25%. That means 75% of black women will never ever know what it feels like to be proposed to.
Now, here's the problem. As you can see, he went from the marriage into the culture to right there feeling sorry for black women type of argument. I don't know what this type of gaslighting. What y'all got names for everything these days. I don't know what that is. But the truth of the matter is, bro, black women may be the least married, but there's other reasons for that. And no man should waste his one life trying to figure that out. Do we have legitimate gripes with black women in general? Yes, we do. Do black women have legitimate gripes with black men in general? Yes, they do. Yes, they do, brothers. Yeah, they exaggerate a lot on that side. Yes, they fluff it up a lot. They give us charges that's not true. But we're starting to argue just like that. We're starting giving them charges that's not true. We're starting to act just like they act. But as of now, both sides do have legitimate gripes. And unless both sides are willing to sit down and talk to each other to try to figure out what's going on, then neither side is obligated to waste their one life waiting and hoping that they meet that one special black man or black woman so that they can get married and travel through life. It don't work that way. It don't work that way. Number two, marriage is about proximity. You marry who you come in contact with. If you happen to have more racial options around you, which a lot of people do inside the inner cities, then there's a likelihood that you can actually meet women of other races and get to know them, and you might click with them. But now, you dudes always like talking about traditional this and traditional that. But here's the thing. Traditionally speaking, if a man of one particular race or culture meets another of a woman of a different race or culture, then traditionally speaking, it is the woman that crosses over into that man's race or culture. So when you try to say that this is particularly true when you talk about black men, that they cannot love themselves because of all this stuff, it's not true. Black men do not marry into other cultures. The women do. If anybody is crossing over into the next culture, it's the women. And this is the problem I do have with some of you younger brothers that try to do the interracial thing. See, facts without context, right? Here we go. Truth of the matter is that a lot of y'all date or try to marry interracially for different reasons. You got some people that simply marry and date the best person for them, regardless of race. That's the category I actually fall into. You got other people that actually believe that another race is better or look better. You got somebody else that might actually believe that another race is a higher status or gives them higher social status, higher social rankings. You know, basically self-hatred is a motivator to want to marry another race. You do have those people. But you also just have people that just like what they like. And, you know, if they find a person they like and click with, they marry that person, regardless of any other factor. The problem is you do have a significant percentage of young black men that attempt to marry out of being black. That is true. But here's the problem. This is something that black women have been doing for 40, 50 years. Most black women only want a white man because he's white. Because most black women, when they marry out, so to speak, they only try to marry a white man. They don't marry anything else. Because what they're trying to do is marry the man of higher social status. And the white man may be a man of higher social status, but it's only I don't even know the word for it, but because it's not something that's real. You know what I'm saying? This society don't give no more of a damn about white men than it does about black men, or white people than it does about black people. It uses the support of white folks. It don't care about them. They are just there to uphold the status quo. The status quo, the people at the top, though, they don't care about these people. They don't care about them. And no, I'm not saying that they are not racist, but they are more than just racist. You got to understand that. So my problem is that you do have a percentage of young black men that attempt to marry out of the race because they think it increases their status quo. But this is something that black women have been doing for 30, 40, 50 years already. And they still do it to this day. This is why when you see a black woman, despite Boosie getting up there, oh man, these little dudes made me sick. When a white boy get a black woman, he get the baddest woman. When a black man get a white girl, he gets an old ugly white girl. We got to do better. It's not true. It's not true. And I keep asking y'all, do y'all even go outside? Because you could walk to the mall right now. If you're in a major city, you could walk to the mall right now and see many brothers walking around with some nice looking non-black women. It's just not true. And you'll see when you do see a sister, because it's not that common to see a black woman with a white man. But when you do see the sister with a white boy, there's a percentage, I would say about 90% of the time, the white boy ain't gonna look like nothing. Because she didn't get him because of how he looked. He ain't got no money. She didn't get him for money. She got him because she believed the value of that man is in his skin itself. And this is something that we all suffer from to a degree because most of us believe that. Most of us believe that, and it's just not true. So, number one, marriage is not a business. That is a myth. It is not a business. Number two, most of us have no wealth to consider. Number three, if anybody's going to cross over into the next culture or whatever, it's going to be the female. Men don't do that. So all of his arguments towards black men are completely baseless. Number 4 or 5, I lost track of the numbers. I should have wrote the stuff down somewhere, but it's coming off at the fly, right? I'm just making it up as I go. But the next one is this notion that we only get white girls or something like that when we got money, or we can only get fat white girls, but the black women get good. I mean, stop it, bro. All of these things are lies. And the crazy thing is that Dr. Umar Johnson himself is not even married to no woman, not black or otherwise. He claimed that he's not married because black women can't keep their mouth closed. This is a dude that likes to have secrets. He wants to keep his personal life a secret. And he's afraid that if he let a woman get too close to him, she's going to spill the beans on how he really is, which a woman actually did. Go to O'Shea Duke channel, O'Shea Duke Jackson's channel, and you'll see it yourself. He got it up there. A woman did try to expose. I think she was on Tasha Z or Tasha X or Tasha something. No, Tasha Z is the girl that does the young lady. Excuse me. Forgive me, sister. Tasha Z is the sister that does the indigenous black American thing. So it must be the other Tasha K or Tasha something, right? She was on her channel, but O'Shea got the video. That's where I seen it at. And she exposed him. She said Umar he's not right. That's all I'm gonna say about it. She said he's not right. But I do like the fact that he's very, very confident in his stupidity. And he likes to talk because it would allow me to rebut the things that he say to show you where he's wrong. And I'm just for a quick wrap up, I'm gonna do it again real quick. One last wrap up. Marriage is not a business. Talk to any married couple, they'll tell you marriage is not a business. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I don't know where he get that from. Not even white folks. Again, this is based off a certain income demographic that think like that. The average person is not in that income demographic, regardless of their race, and they don't think that way. So what he's saying is just fundamentally not true. It's not a business. We have no wealth and no major assets to even consider. So that's a myth. And a lot of these men that have this money like that, they are single. They don't even have women. So that's something else to think about. And all this talk coming from a man that isn't even married to a black woman. And he says all that to say that it's impossible to be pro-black if you don't marry a black person. I would disagree with that strongly. In fact, it's just a lie. But I was about to say is that I would disagree with that even in the case of black women. I've met black women that were married to non-black men that was still down chicks. They just happened to meet a dude that wasn't black that they clicked with. They never changed. They never act funny. They never thought there was anything else. They never tried to be nothing else. They just happened to meet a man that was something else that they clicked with. I've seen that with my own eyes. I've met these people personally. And I know for a fact that I've met like buku black men that are married to non-black women, and they are down like full flat tires with their own people. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it's not really true what he said. It's a flawed concept. There's nothing in reality. There's nothing realistic about it. It's all based on just lies and straw man arguments and straw man tactics of arguing from a base point of exception as though that is the rule. And you can't do that. The exception, it proves the rule. It doesn't make the rule, right? It proves the rule. It doesn't make the rule. The exceptions are exceptions for a reason. So you can't create an argument based off exceptional circumstances and apply that across the board. I'm sorry, it just don't work that way. It don't work that way. But anyway, this is the kind of stuff I'm going to do from now on, man. I'm going to try to keep the attacks out of it and just kind of talk to you about what I see in these dudes and the things that they say and show you where they're wrong at, you know what I'm saying? And I hope y'all feel this method a little bit better, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to try not to be as hype. I'm going to try to be a little bit smoother. But I hope y'all feel this method a little bit better. So until next time, I'm out of here. I'm Brother Kush, a.k.a. the Black Alpha. Salam.